Shalom. Giving all glory, praise, and honor to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Kakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of great millstone which rule well. Peace and much love, honors and blessings, salutations to the elect to be held by Hashem Yahushai, which hold their conduct, composure, and integrity, standing fast and holding fast in the faith, the proper name of the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son. Alright, who the world ignorantly called God, His proper name is Yahweh, and His only begotten Son, the Son of God, who the world ignorantly called Jesus Christ. His proper name is Yahushai. Yahweh and Yahushai are the proper name, and call Elohim Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai. So, headed to work, 4 in the morning. And, my mind, as soon as I woke up, I just wasn't trying to have it. Woke up and immediately my mind went to bullshit. So I put on the Elder Yashawa's video. I had a still pic of the event that took place yesterday, with Charlie Kirk. And the brother just started talking about, exactly what us men in Great Millstone have been warning you people, you Jakes. All right, the people that we warn is the nation of Israel. All right, you so-called blacks, Latino, Native American Indians. We only speak to you. All right. The Lord didn't tell us to go warn any other nation. Nevertheless, we warn you because y'all are ignorant of what is going on out in the world, in America. You're ignorant of what your enemy is cooking up about you. Schemes and lies, narratives. All right, you 2/3 Israelites, you so-called blacks, Latino, Native American Indians, are oblivious to what Esau, your enemy, the so-called white man, is talking about you while you're partying, Keisha twerking. All right, Clarence is trying to fuck the new next bitch. Y'all are ignorant of what this enemy sees about you, and that's another thing. Esau is your enemy. The white man is your enemy and has always been your enemy. You could say an arch nemesis. All right, because this man has had hatred and war with you since the very beginning of time, going back to the garden. All right, up until now. Well, we could say the most notable accounts in history. All right, the garden. When the man, which is referred to as a serpent, that spoke to Eve. All right, and then he jumped down and talked about how there shall be enmity between the woman and the seed, or the woman between the woman and the serpent's seed. Goodness, but we know that's ultimately talking about hatred between Israel and Esau. All right. The Lord said that He had likened the daughter of Zion as unto a comely and delicate woman. And the serpent's seed, we already know the word seed goes back to the word sperma. All right? And it's referring to a man that had snake-like characteristics and qualities about him. When you look at a snake, it's more cunning. And the word cunning is skillfully deceptive, and the one who was attributed to be cunning from the very beginning was Esau, the so-called white man. I said he was a cunning man of the field. And that field is not just talking about, a plot of land. It's talking about the entire earth. All right? And so that's how you tie this devil, the old serpent, and Satan, right? Like it said in Revelation, what is that, 20 or 21? That's how you tie Esau to being the serpent, going back to the Garden of Eden. Eden meaning paradise, or the earth, Idan. So, because there's a class of people on this planet that have been making history and gaining control of the world through their cunningness. Alright, Job 9:24 says that the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? Now, who are the only people on the planet to ever cover up history or cover things up in general? The so-called white man. You had, what is that, the last month or two, Trump was trying to move to erase hurtful history about the so-called white man that would paint the white man as a bad person. He was trying to erase slavery history. The thing with, what was that? Andrew Jackson and, the Negro and so-called Native American Indian, right? They took those statues down. But this is an example, again, showing how this one particular man has been cunning to hide himself while he moves for control and world dominance. That being the so-called white man Esau, Edom today. All right? And so, with this devil's hatred that he's had for the woman, which is Israel, these so-called blacks, Latino, Native American Indians, that he's had forever, perpetually, he manages to somehow twist the narrative of society, life, whatever, to where it'll put the so-called black, Latino, Native American Indian man in the middle of the chaos that is being caused by him, the so-called white man, in America. You had 2 days ago this Ukrainian woman that was blonde-haired, blue-eyed, white lady, looking ever so sweet and innocent, right? Who was brutally murdered by a bloodthirsty, depraved monster, as Trump quoted. And the monster that was bloodthirsty and a brutal murderer was apparently a black guy. And Trump's trying to, and with Esau's cunningness, because he said that the most violent cities and states are democratically run, and to you idiot-ass Americans, you believe that politics is a real thing, a real skirmish going on in the middle of them. You have the plebeians, patricians, all right, the Democrats and Republicans today, as if they're truly scuffling and disagreeing, like they can't come to a common agreement and realize that we need to make laws for the people, and Democrats oppose the Republicans, and balances out. And no, that's the scheme and con that they put on you people, to make you believe that the in-house finding is to really find out the greater outward look of what needs to be happening with America. But somehow, some way, they're able to put Jake in the middle of it. Again, with that Ukrainian woman. All right, a black man killed the woman. They put up the statistics of black crime only in America. Trump was promoting more city lockdown because of that so-called brutal killing. Said it worked. He's like, look, we did it with Washington, D.C., one of the most bloodthirsty, violent, brutal places on the planet, and we managed to use our vicious force and knock, bitch, Salagu. But they're flexing Esau's flexing his so-called strength in how he believes that that's the answer to ending all crime. See, that's what you believe it's about, knocking down crime. Totally dismissing the fact that it's the white man in the front lines of all the crime being committed. Yes, our people are a problem. You so-called blacks, Latinos, Native American Indians, you 2/3 are a problem. But we're not the problem for what's really going on. It's the so-called white man using his cunningness to lie and be wicked as fuck with his lies so that he can keep world dominant control and always be above the people, being in the midst of the seas, right? And then at the same time, taking out his greatest enemy. And his greatest enemy is you Israelites. So then you had as of yesterday, Charlie Kirk. The question that was being asked by Charlie Kirk was basically about, the problem with transgender mass shooters. And when he got that question answered, or when he answered that question, he tied it with gang violence. That again, that's the subtlety of Esau. He'll cause craft and policy to prosper. This devil is able to talk to the people and fabricate, frame law by mischief, as the scriptures say. He's able to frame something up, prop something up, and actually make it a thing. He can make lies a thing by causing events to occur. Case in point, the Charlie Kirk thing. Whether that was an actual disgruntled Edomite shooting him or an actual, setup, an op or whatever. People are now very concerned because it was a very close asset that had just been X'd out of Trump. And so you got MAGA supporters are very upset and they're all armed. But the last thing that was said by this devil, which he's a devil, all right, Charlie Kirk is a devil. You can watch his shit. Some of it was funny, but he, would try to do forums where he would try to combat racism to not be a thing. Nevertheless, he was a devil. He was a pasty Edomite. But the last thing that he said before he was, shot in the neck was a tie of gang violence. And gang violence is notoriously known to be Jake. You so-called blacks, Latinos, Native American Indians. And it's funny, I guarantee you people are going to hear that. The last thing he said was gang violence. Not the fact that there's transmission shooters or that there's white mass shooters. Only the gang violence is going to be heard. Even though this thing had nothing to do with Jake, everybody's going to look at Jake. That's the cunningness of this devil. Jake being painted in the picture no matter what. 99 white guys just went on a shooting spree, but they shot one black guy. But guess what? That one black guy is the reason why the 99 shooters were out there. What? Just making that's just an example. I'm just, making some shit up. But that's how the narrative starts. Because this devil is whispering to you people. You know, that's part of the enchantment that he's doing. He's whispering chants into your ears. And no, because and you know what? There's something about the system of America that if it's working the proper way, then you people won't notice it. And that's what it is. You people don't notice what's going on in America. And when some shit does sporadically happen, you know, you're caught off guard and you're concerned. And then so you look at the government like, what do we do? What's the problem? What's going on? You know, there was, you know, you look at the crowd of what just happened with Charlie Kirk. Ain't no goddamn Israelites. You can have a few, but it was a lot of Esau. A lot. Guarantee they're going to try to bring Jake out in a way somehow with it. It's no coincidence that happened with the thing that just happened a couple of days ago with Trump talking about the Ukrainian woman being killed by a Jake. This is what's about to happen, man. Jacob's trouble is around the corner. I keep talking about what Trump started off with Issachar, these so-called Mexicans, with, and he's still working with ICE. You know, you've always had Esau say for a thing that, you know, Jake needs to go back from when they came from. You know, they'll say go back to Africa to, you know, to Judah, going back to Mexico with Issachar, go back to whatever country you came from with these other tribes. You know, whether it would be like Cuba or, you know, Bermuda or something. But somehow Esau will always have a fucking mouth to talk shit, man, about Jacob. Jacob's trouble is around the corner. You got Trump supporters, man, that really hate Jake. And Esau is getting tired of the crazy shit that's going on in America. Esau's creating this vibration, man, that's gonna, you know, set people off. It's gonna set this whole country in a civil unrest, and seditions are gonna occur. That's where we're headed, man. That's Jacob's trouble. You're gonna have this devil come down with his horns and with the great wrath because he know he had but a short time. And this is prophecy, man. This is what you got to understand, that our people are delivered only because of prophecy being fulfilled. And it has to happen. These things have to happen in order for our people to get out of here. You know, everybody pointing the finger at the one person that didn't do anything. So how can this man have a voice to speak? How can we plead our cause, man, if the entire world believes that we're the problem, even though we're not? Even when you've had certain nations that will tell us, that will tell the world, like, no, we ain't the problem, we're the solution. But then they'll turn around and agree with other nations of like, oh yeah, they're the problem. Like, what? There's no way out of this fucking paradigm, you know, with a voice for our people or a leader that we appoint to speak on our behalf. The entire world looks at us as a waste. You know? It's like I'm trying to get that rattling and stuff. It's a spoon for work, for my food. But you know, the only way that we can get out of here and be delivered is through Yehovah Shemel Shai. There's no seat or spot for us at a table in this world. Jacob's trouble does need to happen. It's not going to be pretty. You know, that's like the net to catch all the degenerate of Jake. Even though we know a lot, you know, still a lot of us have to, you know, not us, a lot of y'all, Lord willing, I'm not part of the us, but a lot of y'all had to face the thermonuclear missiles as well by Yehovah Shemel Shai. But, you know, something's gonna happen. It's not, like I said, Jacob's trouble is not gonna be pretty, man. Why doth every man have his hand on his loins, and as if their face are turned to paleness? For a long time, you Israelites think that, or thought that you could, you could try to get somewhere one day with the so-called white man. But he's still here doing the same shit that he's always done. Like Trump said in that little meeting or press meeting about the Ukrainian murder by Jake. He said that criminals only understand one thing, and that's violence. And so we have to respond in kind and be just as ferocious and vicious as them. That's Esau's hatred being shown. That's Esau's wrath getting ready to be shown and put on you Israelites, man. That's Jacob's trouble. It has to happen again. Like I said, it's not going to be pretty. Because we could get caught up in it, man. But it has to happen. That's the point. It's like I'm trying to situate. It's just a matter of time before this happens. But for our people, and for those that believe in Yahweh Shem Yahshua especially, man, this is a warning out to all of our people, though, man. You better start watching. He's about to get caught in a very horrible, unaware way. And it's going to be very painful. Your full dread is going to come upon you, man. When fears take hold of you. That's what's about to happen next. You're about to see some shit from Esau that you didn't think could be possibly shown by a human being or a man or a person. Which is funny, because all of these doesn't even fit Esau. Esau's not a person. He's not a man. He's not a human. All right? He's a vessel, a whipping stick for the nation of Israel. And he has no soundness in his spirit. The only thing that this devil understands is violence. And he's going to respond with it against you Israelites. All right, they are ready. This devil, they are ready. He is ready, and it's not going to be good, man. So to those that do believe in Yahweh Shem Yahshua, I tell you, be extremely sober and watching, man. Be extremely sober and vigilant, like the scriptures say. Watching, because it's about to get ugly. America is about to change, man. So be ready. But with that, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. I want to give all glory, praise, and honor to Yahweh. Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rukakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, which rule well. Peace and much love, honors and blessings, salutations to the elect of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, or to all their kind of composure and integrity. Till the next one, I say, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Barakatam, Kwame Shalom, Shalom. And the water between it, Shalom.